This news story is one of the most interesting news stories that I've seen in a while. We got behind the scenes emails where Phil Spencer basically calling it like it is, says AAA gaming is in trouble. AAA publishers are in trouble, and Xbox is here to help. Xbox Game Pass is here to help. He's basically saying that Game Pass is the savior and will be the savior of AAA gaming. And he lays out a pretty solid case, a case which, surprise, surprise, I agree with. Game Pass is the Netflix of gaming. It really is. We know this. We can see it. And it's what Phil Spencer rather lays out in these internal emails leaked during this FTC case. And I think it's interesting. I think the other interesting thing that is really obvious here is Sony's on a suicidal path if they don't adjust. Really, their strategy is absolutely suicidal. They need to adjust or they will become obsolete. You can see it. You can see the writing on the wall. Major movie studios are becoming obsolete because of Netflix. The same thing is going to happen in gaming. We're in this transitionary period of technology in all of our entertainment. Why do you think it would not affect gaming? Of course it's going to affect gaming and is affecting gaming, and we're in the midst of it as we speak. I think it should not be business as usual for a place like Sony, and I think Xbox is right. I think Sony does see it, which is why they opposed the Activision Blizzard acquisition. After all, at first they weren't concerned at all, and then I think they saw, whoa, what Xbox is doing here, Game Pass, actually, there's a place for this. Actually, shoot. Okay, oppose. Hurry. We can't let this go through. Let's go through what Phil Spencer had to say. I've highlighted some of the quotes in these emails. Just know these emails are in 2020. And they were to the head of the CEO of Microsoft, and it was in preparation of a meeting with Take-Two explaining why Game Pass is in their benefit and how it's going to benefit AAA publishers. So starting out here, here's what he says. He says, in terms of subscriptions and the impact on larger publishers, I realize that I haven't done a really good job sharing our view, he's talking about Xbox's view, on the disruption AAA publishers potentially see and how their role in the industry will likely change with the growth of subscription platforms like Xbox Game Pass. Now think about this. You're thinking to yourself, well, a Take-Two, they're not going anywhere. No. But their role is going to change. They're used to be able, and he talks about this later on. In fact, let's just read what he talks about. This is written by Ethan Gack. Ethan Gack here says, Spencer lays out how publishers once existed to leverage scale in negotiations with retailers for shelf space. Then everything changed. Quote, this is Phil Spencer, the creation of digital storefronts like Steam, Xbox Store, and PlayStation Store eventually democratized success for creators, breaking physical retail's lock on game distribution. Publishers were slow to react to the disruption, and AAA publishers did not find a way to leverage the moat that physical retail created in the digital realm in a way that had them continue their dominance in the gaming marketplace. So traditional AAA publishers dominated the gaming marketplace because they had leverage, and they could go to the Costcos, the Walmarts, the Targets of the world, the GameStops, and say, I want my game on this shelf. I want this game on this shelf, this game. If you were an independent creator, you needed to have a publisher, so that a publisher could get you retail space. It's the only way to get it in front of eyeballs, to sell more games. You had to have that retail space. Well, that's gone now, and you no longer need that. And Phil Spencer actually points that out right here. He says, over the past 5 to 7 years, AAA publishers have tried to use production scale as their new moat. So no longer do they have the leverage with retail because everybody's buying digital. So their new moat is going to be production. It's going to be, hey, I can spend $200 million on creating this game that the independent guy could never spend, in a million years could never spend. Very few companies, he says, can afford to spend $200 million on Activision or Take-Two that they spend to put on a title like Call of Duty or Red Dead Redemption on the shelf. These AAA publishers have mostly used this production scale to keep their top franchises in the top selling games each year. He says that because of that cost, though, they're unwilling and unable to experiment. And you're seeing a stagnation in new IPs. A lot of these AAA publishers are living off of 10-year-old IPs that have had success, that they know will have success, that have brand recognition. If they're not, what they're doing is partnering with other big brands. So, for instance, Spider-Man from Sony Interactive. or not from Sony Interactive, but Spider-Man with Sony, rather, is a partnership there because Spider-Man's such a huge brand. It's less of a risk. You've got Star Wars with EA, for instance. EA can put more money into it. It's less of a risk. It's not a brand new IP that you don't know how it's going to do. There's a brand there. He says this same dynamic has obviously played out in Hollywood as well, with Netflix creating more new IPs than any of the movie studios. So movie studios, this is where there's that parallel example. Movie studios are not innovating anymore. They're not creating newness. What they are doing is creating the same old tried and tested. We know this will be a blockbuster hit. Marvel or Avengers 11, let's do it. Shrek 7, let's do it. We know it'll be big. And so they're not experimenting. They're not creating new IPs. Who is Netflix. Subscription service is. He says, in the new world, where a AAA publisher doesn't have real distribution leverage with consumers, they don't have production efficiencies, and their new IP hit rate is not disproportionately higher than the industry average, we see that the top franchises today were mostly not created by AAA game publishers. Games like Fortnite, Roblox, Minecraft, Candy Crush, Clash Royale, Dota 2 were all created by independent studios with full access to distribution. In other words, the top games are not created by AAA studios because AAA studios are stuck. They're stuck having to put all their money into time-tested brands and IPs. The Grand Theft Autos of the world, the Red Dead Redemptions, the Call of Duties of the world. They're not able to experiment with new IPs. And new IPs, independent developers don't need you in order to get big. The Fortnites of the world, the Roblox, the Minecraft, the Candy Crushes, they all got big without you, because of the new space that we're in. So AAA games are in this precarious place. He says, overall, in my opinion, this is a good thing for the industry, democratizing game development, in other words, right? Like giving independent studios power to create a big hit, potentially, if they create something good. AAA publishers, he says, are milking their top franchises, but struggling to refill their portfolio of hit franchises. Most AAA publishers are riding the success of franchises created 10 plus years ago. And here's where he comes in as Game Pass is the savior for AAA studios. How can we help you? Asks Phil Spencer. Well, here's what he says. Our goal is to find a way to grow our subscription, which is our new platform, Game Pass. Keep in mind, this was 2020 that this email was written, and help the AAA publishers build towards a successful future, Spencer writes. For publishers with 2 to 3 scale franchises, that's a difficult transition. Again, taking a clue from Hollywood, it's not clear how a standalone subscale media publisher grows in this world without adapting to new paradigms or getting consolidated. But we believe we can help a Take-Two, for instance, by increasing monetizable total addressable market across more endpoints inside a global platform like Xbox Game Pass. What is he saying there? We can help you. Take your projects and put them on Game Pass. You can create these new IPs, put them on Game Pass, and you have a distribution network, right? You can get it seen by our total audience on our subscription service. I think this is fascinating. I think it's a fascinating peek behind the curtains at how Xbox is thinking, how Phil Spencer's is thinking. And I think he's correct. I've been saying it all along. I've said it before. I'll say it again. Game Pass is the new Netflix. Gaming is changing. We are going through this transitionary period in all of our entertainment. When was the last time you bought a CD? You don't. You buy it on you purchase it, if you purchase it at all, on your phone, but mostly you're subscribed to a music service. Why would gaming be any different? When was the last time you bought a movie? Physical copy. Probably sooner, a lot sooner than music, but most people don't anymore. You view it via a subscription service that you have that has said movie or TV show available to you. Why would gaming be any different? Answer, it's not. It's not going to be different. And Xbox is on a warpath here. Xbox is absolutely innovating. And I think Sony got caught flat-footed on this, 100%. And I think you see it in their emails that were released when it came to Activision Blizzard. At first, they were like, big deal. They should have bought an electric car to compete with us for all that we care. Big deal there. And then they're like, oh, wait a minute. We see what this means for Game Pass, the greater Game Pass. We see what Xbox is doing. We see maybe now where the future is going. Shat. and they were caught flat-footed. They have to. Sony cannot be stuck in their own ways, in my opinion. I think we are at the beginning of the Xbox gaming domination generation, and it will be because of Game Pass. It will be because of the innovation of Game Pass subscription and subscription gaming services, and I think it's a beautiful thing. I would love to know what you guys think. Do you think I'm right? Do you think I'm wrong? What do you think of what Phil Spencer said here about AAA publishers, comparing it to movies? Are we missing something here? Let me know in the comments below. If you like this video, I drop videos every single week. Xbox gaming videos 5 days a week. Hit the like button, subscribe to this channel. My name is X1 the Gamer, and we'll see you guys next time.